Good afternoon, everyone. I am Tamira Nena DeLisser, and with me is Dr. Lidon Lashley, and together we are the Assistant Deans of the Faculty of Education and Humanities. We will be moderating this afternoon's event, your Faculty of Education and Humanities orientation for the 2021-2022 academic year.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are in a great faculty. Dean of the Faculty of Education and Humanities, Dr. Rosalind Khan, heads of department coordinators both at Turkine and Tain campuses, student representatives, lecturers, and support staff, and most importantly, you, our student. It is with pleasure that we welcome you most warmly to the Faculty of Education and Humanities Virtual Orientation 2021-2022.
The objectives of this orientation program are to welcome you to the 2021-2022 academic year, but in particular to welcome our new students of the Faculty of Education and Humanities, to introduce you to our faculty leaders and staff of the faculty, to provide you with the necessary information that will assist in the successful start of your programs and guide your progression in the faculty, and to motivate and encourage you to strive for an awesome semester and a great year ahead.
As you've seen on the agenda, this afternoon you will hear from the Dean, then we will return to make our presentation, followed by our department leaders, HODs and coordinators, presentations, and also the coordinators of the UGBC. We have also dedicated time for you to get the opportunity to have your questions answered and your issues and concerns addressed. Note that our microphones and videos are off, but we encourage you use the Q&A, that is the question and answer feature below. On your dashboard, you'll see it clearly there, and type your question during the presentations. After all the presentations have been completed, the questions will be answered in the question and answer segment. We will invite you to raise your hands and we will identify you and unmute your microphone in order for you to speak. Please note that the session is being recorded.
Okay, with the administrative bit out of the way, we can get into the program. I have the pleasure to present to you this afternoon our esteemed Dean of the Faculty, Dr. Rosalind Khan. Dr. Rosalind Khan is the Dean of the Faculty of Education and Humanities. Dr. Khan earned her BA in Spanish major and Portuguese minor, as well as her postgraduate diploma in education, where she had a pass with distinction from the University of Guyana. Dr. Khan was awarded the Commonwealth Scholarship and earned a master's degree in the theory and practices of literary translation from the University of Essex, UK. Her PhD in Spanish, comparative Caribbean drama, English and Spanish was earned at UWI-Mona. Dr. Khan was a founder member and president of the Guyana Modern Languages Teachers Association, GAMLAT, a producer and presenter of radio programs on CXC Spanish and Hispanic culture. She served for years as a translator at conferences for the government and at meetings for other agencies in Guyana. Dr. Khan enjoyed the pleasure of working as the Assistant Dean of the faculty during the 2019-2020 academic year and Dean during the 2020-2021 academic year. She really appreciates being given the opportunity to continue serving as Dean for the 2021-2022 academic year. May I ask, please, that our attendees ensure our participants ensure that your mics are muted, please? Thank you. Unfortunately, Dr. Khan is unavoidably absent this afternoon, but has left a recording to be shared with you. Please allow me, therefore, to welcome Dr. Khan virtually to your screen to bring opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Chairs. Dear students, on behalf of the Faculty of Education and Humanities, a faculty which I'm very privileged to be serving as Dean, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to each and every one of you. At this virtual gathering, we welcome you and we celebrate the beginning of your academic stay with us, either 2, 3, or 4 years at the undergraduate level, or your return for 1 year or more at the graduate level. Your decision is a very clear indication that you're taking advantage of a remarkable opportunity to not only strive to get a certificate that says you have successfully completed the requirements for a degree or a diploma, but one which allows you to foster that intrinsic motivation that drives you in spite of the challenges we're all facing in our new COVID-19 norm, to carve your way for further accomplishments in your various academic or career paths. So, as you settle into your routine of virtual classes in your first semester, adjusting to the requirements of that environment, which may change to a blended one as of the second semester, I would like to urge you all from the very beginning, whether you are an undergraduate or a graduate student, to set and achieve your short-term goals while keeping your eyes on the prize of the long-term ones, and to seize every available opportunity to equip yourselves with the necessary new or additional knowledge and skills required to achieve them. Such determination will go a very far way in qualifying each one of you as a well-rounded and accomplished University of Guyana graduate, equipped to play a pivotal role in implementing in the near future some of the necessary and positive changes that are needed nationally, regionally, and internationally. The greatest significance of these suggestions lies in the argument that your academic futures really lie in your own hands. Your lecturers and supervisors have an important role in the process, but we no longer live in a world that sees them as being the sole proprietors of imparting knowledge. Instead, they are facilitators of conditions and opportunities that should allow every student to be an active participant in the learning process while enhancing his or her own skills in self-analysis, critical thinking, as well as in the demonstration of behavior characterized by honesty, integrity, empathy, accountability, as well as inclusivity, diversity, and equity, among other positive attributes. Your success also depends on your understanding of the regulations governing your UG experience, the requirements of your program of study, knowing what courses you need to take every semester, reading ahead of classes, being present at classes and participating in discussions, submitting your assignments on time, avoiding academic misconduct, especially plagiarism, following the correct procedures. If you need to work out a payment plan, if you need to apply for leave of absence, late registration, etc. You may have heard about some of these and others in the general session on Monday. However, in spite of how formidable and intimidating all the information you're receiving may seem, please try to remember that though as human beings we may have no control over certain aspects of our existence, you as students do have the privilege of being able to play a major role in your academic success, especially if you have a genuine passion for your field of choice and if you intend to contribute in your own unique way to your future personal development as well as to that of your nation, your region, and the world. Finally, I would like to underscore a very significant possibility. As students of the Faculty of Education and Humanities, you may be able, by choice, to contribute to achieving one of the goals of our first female Vice Chancellor, one of the goals for our nation, Guyana, working towards having at least one University of Guyana graduate per household by the year 2040. I thank you at this time for your full attention and best wishes as you embark on another phase of your own academic journeys. Thank you, chairs.
Thank you, Dean Dr. Roslyn Khan, for your opening remarks and encouragement to our students, faculty, staff, and all. At this time, we, the assistant deans, will make our presentation. Dr. Delissa?
Thank you, Dr. Lashley. We are quite pleased to be given the opportunity to address you, our FEH champions. Apologies to the general audience, but we will speak specifically to our students, our champions. Our dear students, whether you are from the Tain or Turkana campuses, postgrad or undergrad, we want you to know that as the assistant deans of your faculty, our first priority is you. We want you to feel comfortable and confident that you can speak with us and your matters will be duly addressed. As per our welcome message to you on the virtual office of the Assistant Dean page, we are committing to do all in our powers to ensure that you are provided with a quality educational experience which promotes your academic success. We will liaise with the Dean, your heads of departments, and your lecturers to make sure that all information and guidance required to ensure your academic success are accessible to you. We will be responsive to all your queries within a 48-hour time frame. However, we will check our emails and our messages daily in cases where there are urgent requests.
But in order to achieve all these commitments, your cooperation is integral. We expect that you, students of the Faculty of Education and Humanities, will have the maturity and motivation to play your part in attaining the quality educational experience that you desire, thus ensuring your academic success. We expect that you will put in the time needed to familiarize yourself with the general University of Guyana regulations and the specific requirements for the successful completion of your program. Know your rights, know the university procedures, and know your obligations. These are available to you on the Students Record Management System, SRMS. Finally, we expect that you will reach out to us, Dr. Delissa and myself, for help and guidance as needed. Remember, our first priorities as assistant deans is you.
So now for more general information. As Dr. Lashley mentioned, the SRMS, let me start there. The SRMS, Students Records Management System, is the interface with which you would have been interacting since your application to date and will continue to use until your graduation and even after as an alumni to this institution. There was a session on Monday morning introducing you to the SRMS, but I want to underscore that there are a host of information available to you on the SRMS with which you should be familiar. The Dean mentioned a few in her opening remarks, but I want to underscore that on the SRMS, you can apply for exemptions, request changes to your registration, request transfers, leave of absence, and withdrawals if necessary. It is integral that you ensure that your contact information, in particular your email address and your cell phone number, is up to date on the SRMS, as this is a primary medium with which the university will use to communicate with you. Too often, we try to communicate with our students and emails are not delivered and numbers are inactive or are being used by someone else. Don't let this happen to you.
You need to be mindful of the academic calendar and make a note of the following dates. Teaching starts on Monday, October 25th. First day of class, where you'll meet some of your lecturers, get familiar with your course outlines and all other expectations and regulations. If you have not yet completed your registration will end on October 31st and late registration on November 20th. Period for change of registration requests, for transfer, requests for exemption from courses, and to request withdrawal from courses ends on November 27th. After this time, the process becomes a bit more difficult as letters will have to be written to the Deputy Registrar for changes. The deadline for payment of your fees is November 10th, 2021. Please note, if you're having problem with the payment of your fees, you should get in touch with the Office of the Deputy Registrar in order to make an approved arrangement. The university has been extremely flexible with the fees payment during this pandemic. And as such, you should reach out in cases of difficulties. Remember, loans are always an option. Note 2, you will need financial clearance from the bursary before your registration can be final. And only then can the Assistant Registrar of Admissions approve your registration.
For this semester, we will continue to deliver our courses with a few exceptions online via the Moodle and Zoom platforms, and maybe other means as determined by your lecturers. Please note that you will not be able to access the Moodle platform until classes start on 25th of October. If you should have any difficulties, you should report them to the CCSES help desk by giving relevant details, including your USI and a screenshot, if possible, of the error message. They can be contacted via email address and as displayed on the screen, helpdesk.tos@uog.edu.gy. A presentation on Moodle and online learning was done on Monday, so I will not go into further details here about this. Please ensure that you check the timetable, which is available on the faculty's website. The address is https://feh.uog.edu.gy/timetables. This is also available on our Facebook page and our Telegram Messenger in order for you to note the dates and the time, the days rather, and the times for your classes. Note that for the use of English and Modern Language Service courses, students from the Turkine campus will need to select their course groups via the SRMS registration page. This is not currently available to students from the Tain campus. If on the timetable, you should notice any errors, if there are any clashes or omissions, please report them to the FEH virtual office so that they can be addressed. We will speak about accessing the virtual office in a little bit. On the timetable, classes are scheduled based on credit hours. Note, however, as we are in the online mode, seeing a 3-hour session on the timetable, for example, does not necessarily mean that the lecturer will be lecturing for 3 hours. This time may be used for both synchronous and asynchronous learning. As an annex to the timetable, we will be putting out an Excel format for you in the Telegram group, where you will find a list of all the first semester courses and their lecturers along with their contact details. Please do not hesitate to reach out to your lecturers as necessary. Being online requires that you take more control of your learning and your success.
With regards to assessments, these will be determined by your department and your lecturers. For semester 1, we will not be having final examinations in the traditional face-to-face mode, but instead we will have continuous assessments in the form of coursework, assignment, in-course quizzes, discussion forums, projects, tests, etc. If for any reason you are not satisfied with your grades for any of your assessments, while we hope that this will not be the case, please note that you have the right to a review and an appeal. To review or appeal your coursework grade, the first point of contact is your lecturer. If you are not satisfied with the response from the lecturer, you should write to your HOD. If you are not satisfied with the intervention of the HOD, then and only then the matter should be referred to the faculty coordinating committee, who will act as the final arbitrator on the matter. There is also the option to pay for and apply officially for a review via the Registry Examinations Division. If you should fail a course, you will normally be requested to repeat that course as part of a full load the next time the course is being offered. If you should fail 2 courses in any one semester, however, you may be required to take a reduced load in the following year and to repeat the failed courses. If you fail 3 or more courses in any semester, you will be required to take only those courses in that semester of the following year, unless these are done during the summer.
In exceptional circumstances, if you have not managed to complete your coursework because of extenuating circumstances, on application, an I grade or incomplete grade may be given on the recommendation of the department and time given for you to complete. You will need to sign a contract agreed with your lecturer, allowing you to complete the requirements not later than the end of the semester following that in which the I grade was awarded. If the requirements are not completed within the specified time, the final grade will be the grade that you would have attained before the application of the I grade, provided that in instances where the course is an examinable course, the I grade must be applied for prior to the final examination.
If you're having difficulties or for whatever reasons you are unable to be present for a semester, you must apply for a leave of absence, stating the reason, thus justifying your application. The length of approved leave of absence may extend up to 1 semester, but should not normally exceed 2 semesters. In exceptional circumstances, leave of absence may be granted up to the maximum of 4 consecutive semesters. Applications for a leave of absence for more than 4 consecutive semesters must obtain the approval of the academic board.
Okay, so now we will speak briefly about our website and to our virtual offices. Much information is available to you via the faculty website, accessible at feh.uog.edu.gy. In the menu, you will find information about information about us, our academic programs, our departments and staff, which the HODs will speak about in a bit, etc. The timetable, as was mentioned previously, and other documents and information about news and events are also available. But we would like to bring to your attention our virtual office. Note that this is still under construction, so please bear with us.
Our virtual office is a space created as an alternative to the traditional physical office, where we offer our services to you and you are able to access us easily. In the virtual office of the assistant deans, you have access to some forms and other resources, and also links to the online services such as SRMS, Moodle, and the library. The virtual office of the assistant dean is currently accessible via Zoom and on live chat from 1 to 3 p.m. Monday to Fridays, and the secretariat is open from 8:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Monday to Fridays, and 8:30 to 4:30 on Saturdays. We have shared these flyers with the necessary contact details and hyperlink via the Telegram group.
And speaking of the Telegram group, if you're not yet on our Telegram group, we implore you to do so now, as this is our primary medium to communicate directly with you. You can download the Telegram app to your phone from the Play Store and join the FEH group using the link displayed on the screen. We are also available for WhatsApp messaging and emails 24/7. We also invite you to check out our Facebook pages and YouTube page. Yeah.
So that's it from us for now. You will continue to interact with myself, Dr. Lidon Lashley, and Dr. Tamara Nina Delissa, the two assistant deans of the Faculty of Education and Humanities, throughout your academic journey at the University of Guyana within the Faculty of Education and Humanities. We now take the opportunity to introduce you to our department leaders and allow them to make their presentation and give you that opportunity to become familiar with your HODs, coordinators, and other leaders within various departments. So we move straight to the Department of Curriculum and Instruction. This department focuses primarily with secondary education programs for our secondary teachers. The head of this department is the very diligent Mr. Hazard Khan, and the coordinator in this department is the energetic Dr. Troy Brown. Mr. Khan and Dr. Brown, over to you guys.
Thank you, Dr. Lashley and Dr. Delissa, and welcome to the Department of Curriculum and Instructions. Our motto is towards excellence in teacher education. In this, right, and good afternoon again, if I didn't say that. And with all protocol established, I will continue with my presentation. The Department of Curriculum and Instruction offers a very diverse set of programs. It also has a matching diverse group of subject specialists. This is in keeping with the needs of the teachers in the secondary level of education in Guyana. Our program focuses on the development of the appropriate and best pedagogical practices, best content and most up-to-date content and research to enhance curriculum delivery in the schools. Our goals are to educate teachers or practitioners to prepare for teaching proficiently from grade 7 to 13 in their areas of specialization. Secondly, to prepare our teachers in literacy studies. Thirdly, to prepare our teachers to take their rightful places in society. Note all our program details are online in the SRMS. On your right-hand side of your screen, you can see all the concentrations and the options. So when you get into the program, you just look for your option and you will find all the courses for that program. I move on to the next slide. On the next slide, you can see the contact information for the administrative staff. For myself, as the head of the department, and for Dr. Troy Brown, and for the departmental secretary, and you can reach out to her for all the programs for any concentration. We go to the next slide. Here you have the current full-time staff member, Dr. Nina Tamiran Delissa, linguistics, Miss Elsa Cromarty, English and reading, Miss Bonita Hunter, English and reading, Miss Temitayo Oyedoton, English and reading, Miss Bridget Mohabir, English and curriculum, Dr. Nikisha Darimple, food and nutrition and home economics, Dr. Winifred James Skippins, home economics, Mr. Peter Wins, mathematics, Mr. Mohandat Gulsaran, mathematics, Dr. Troy Brown, mathematics, Mr. Azad Khan, science, Dr. Valda Elliott, who is shared with the Department of Foundation and Education Management. She helps with science. Mr. Abraham Ugowewo, who is also shared with the other department, science. Dr. Henry Hines, social study. He also helps with students at the DPED and master's level. We have Miss Jody Ann Reynolds, social studies. Miss Hazel Simpson, social studies. Miss Umawati Somnath Ramlin, social studies and curriculum and instruction. Mr. Sherwin Fraser, special education needs and inclusive education. Miss Jill Medford, curriculum and business studies. And then we move on to a long list of part-time staff who we haven't placed here because it will take up a lot of time, and you will become familiar with them as you begin to do your courses. They are mainly helping us with research supervision and practicum. A few of them will be also engaged in delivering courses. Our current programs in the department, this is at the secondary level. We have two programs that are running right now. The Bachelor of Education BEd to the 204 program, which was the pre-2020. So this program has been replaced by the Bachelor of Education to the 204B, and this is since 2020. These two programs are different. The second program has a minimum of 120 credits per program, right? Now, the literacy program is also, we had two programs, one before 2020, the 3204, and it has now been replaced with the 3206, which is effective since 2020. Again, these two programs are very different. Now, one thing I would like to make sure that all these new students are going to get right is that if you're applying and registering online, if you're an ADE student, you have to register from year 2 of the program, not year 1, right? If you're a TTC student, that's the trained teacher certificate. You're coming in with trained teacher certificate. You use the program from year 1 of the program. Now that's all from me. Thank you very much. And I now hand you over to Dr. Troy Brown, who is the Curriculum and Instruction Coordinator. Dr. Troy Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Yes, we're looking at our entry requirements. We have the Trained Teacher Certificate, TTC, for short, abbreviated. Associate Degree in Education, the ADE, the Certificating Education, the UG sorted with a concentration or option in the relevant subject areas. Now, each student coming into this program must be a practicing teacher. As was said earlier, that there is a minimum, next slide, a minimum of 120 credits that every student must achieve before graduation. Now, if you're in the TTC program, it means that you must complete years 1, 2, and 3. Okay, all 3 years in the TTC program. However, with the ADE and the UG sorted, you need to complete the 2nd and the 3rd year. Many students refer to it as the 1st and 2nd, but generally the 1st year is actually given, if I put it that way, to you, the student. For the ADE and the UG sorted, just remember that a GPA greater than 2.0 after successfully completing all the courses in the 3204 or the 3204B programs are requirements for graduation. Just remember that there is no transfer credits for the TTC students. For the EDE program students, you have 40 transfer credits, and the UG sorted students will have 5 additional, which is 45 transfer credits. Now, there's some cross-department and cross-faculty courses, and students have these courses going on every year. Now, it is important that you meet with those faculties if you're in a cross-faculty, doing a cross-faculty course, for the timetable within that particular department. Please check with the assistant deans in the relevant faculty. Next. We have also practicum and research proposals and projects. It is important to understand that each student must be exposed in this regard. Please note that practicum and research, they are not timetabled, but an arrangement is made between the students and the lecturer as to the most appropriate day on time for those meetings. Students for practicum and research are not assigned supervisors until after registration is completed, which is usually after the first few weeks into the semester. So just bear that in mind. And please ensure that you keep your supervisor informed at every stage of your preparation. And research are not supervised if you cannot be supervised if you do not present it to your supervisor. And your supervisor must take you through the paces. You're not submitting the research at the very end, but gradually at various stages, an arrangement that will be made between you and your supervisor. So therefore, best wishes for a very productive and successful tenure at the University of Guyana. Thank you. And we do look forward to continue working with you within the Curriculum and Instructions Department. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. Thank you, Mr. Khan, for your presentation. Of course, Dr. Brown and Mr. Khan will stick around for our question and answer segment, where we will hear questions. If you have direct questions about your programs in that department, then you will be able to shoot those to them. All right, so moving on with the orientation, we will now be hearing from our departmental leaders in the Department of Foundation and Education Management. In this department, we have Dr. Michelle McBean, who is the head of the department. We have Dr. Walter Elliott, who is the department coordinator. And we have Mr. Will Campbell, who is the coordinator for the Youth and Community Development Program. For the presentation today, Dr. Walter Elliott will be taking you through. Dr. Elliott, over to you.
Good afternoon to this exceptional cohort of students. All protocol is established. The Department of Foundation and Education Management would have acknowledged your hard or your trying time during the pandemic. So during this time, you would have adapted to an ever-evolving situation and to find opportunities for growth amidst the changes. Despite the unique circumstances,
Did we lose?
Department of Foundation and Education Management is thrilled to have you. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the Department of Foundation and Education Management. We're delighted to see you here. We hope you will discover a lively, challenging, diverse, and warm community over the next few years on campus. Next slide. A little about our department. As the leading university in this country, the Department of Foundation and Education Management provides the nation with professionally qualified personnel, such as teachers, supervisors, administrators, and youth and community workers. Globally, many of our graduates occupy very senior positions in education, industrial, and business sector. Next slide, please. Next slide. This department specializes in undergraduate courses in the field of administration, early childhood education, primary education, and youth and community development. A little about the programs. For administration, this particular program attracts administrators who are operating as early childhood practitioners, primary and secondary teachers. For the early childhood bachelors of education, it caters for practitioners working with children in early childhood classrooms from 0 to 8 years. Bachelors of education at a primary level. Now, this degree is favored by practicing teachers working at the primary school level, and it is considered as the building block for career advancement. Our newest program, that is the Bachelor's Degree of Youth and Community Development, and this program is ideal for youth work and community development practitioners or professionals such as civil servants, local government or arms of the government, organizational management, scout leaders, pathfinders, etc. Next slide. The department also targets practitioners desirous of developing their skills in pedagogy, school management, research and education, policy, and youth and community development work. Next slide, please. As was mentioned by the other department, there are specific requirements, and the requirements for curriculum are similar for the requirements of this department, but there are some differences in this department. You can enter this department once you have a diploma in social work, sociology, psychology. You can also enter this department by acquiring a Commonwealth diploma. That's a certificate in youth work or any other qualification set aside by the University of Guyana. Next slide, please. Next slide. The orientation leaders of this department have been preparing for your arrival, and they are excited to meet you. Your orientation leaders are the head of the department, as is mentioned earlier, Dr. Michelle McBain, and Dr. Leland Thompson. He is the head of the research and graduate studies. Our coordinators, Mr. Will Campbell, and he's responsible for the Bachelor's of Youth and Community Development. Ms. Jill Medford, postgraduate diploma, and yours truly, Dr. Valda Elliott, the Department of Foundation and Education Management. And they're also secretaries, Ms. Anita Maniz for the Foundation and Education Management, and Ms. Stephanie Paris for Research and Graduate Studies. Next slide, please. Here is, professors, lecturers, moderators, and supervisors. Listen to them through several quotes. You will hear them echoing that education is the passport to the future for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. They are willing to help you to prepare for tomorrow. Incredible change happens in your life when you decide to take control of what you do have power over, instead of craving control over what you don't. We are here to help you collectively. We know that one gesture, one person, one moment at a time is all you need to move forward. Next slide, please. Meet some of your moderators. There are some faces and the names. Lead lecturer. Turn over for me. Next slide, please. Sorry. Okay. We know that success is personal. And if you ever have questions about materials you've come across, please don't hesitate to reach out. Foundation Education Management offers an immense array of opportunities to create a truly comprehensive education. But first, getting to know, really know your professors, your coordinators, supervisors, moderators. Look around the world and see where we are today. Thank you for joining our team. We are here to help you grow from strength to strength. Thank you and welcome to the Faculty of Foundation and Education Management. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much, Dr. Elliott, for a timely presentation to our students. Our FEH champion, I'm sure, gotten all the information they require from the department.
Okay, we seem to have lost Dr. Lashley. Dr. Lashley, are you there? So I'll just pick up, but thank you very much, Dr. Elliott, on behalf of the Department of Foundation and Education Management. Of course, as you know, you've heard it, they are here for you. Please do not hesitate to reach out. We did not hear from all the leaders, but they are here and they can be, they will be able to answer your questions when we get to that point. So in the interim, if you have questions that you would like to put in the chat, you could do that, or rather the Q&A, and we will get to them during that section. But during that segment, we will also be opening your mics for you to speak with us. So moving right along, we will now present our next head of department, Mr. Dwayne Benjamin. Mr. Dwayne Benjamin is the head of the History and Caribbean Studies Department here in the Faculty of Education and Humanities. Mr. Benjamin, over to you.
Thank you very much, Assistant Dean. May I be allowed to share my screen, please?
You could go ahead.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. All protocols are observed. I would like to welcome, on behalf of the Department of History and Caribbean Studies, extend a warm welcome to the new members of the family of Faculty Education and Humanities, that is you, the new students. But I would also like to say congratulations on being offered a place at the university. You belong to that elite 1% of the Guyanese population that choose to pursue education at a tertiary level with the University of Guyana. The Department of History and Caribbean Studies is one of the most dynamic, is a small but dynamic institution within the Faculty of Education and Humanities at the university. And I say it's small and dynamic because we have a very rich history and tradition within the university that began in 1967 when the department was formed and chaired by distinguished professor, distinguished Guyanese and Caribbean professor of history, Sister Noel Meniz, Sister Mary Noel Meniz. And over the years, we've continued to maintain that tradition within the university as well as within, and by extension, within Guyana. Our traditional service to a beloved nation that's extended in the fields, in many different fields where our alumni graduates are employed. I must say, I am proud to say that the Department of History and Caribbean Studies has been able over the years to produce 3 registrars, 2 deputy vice chancellors, a vice chancellor, as well as a chief librarian within the University of Guyana. But we're the only department on campus that can boast of the fact that we have been able to produce also a head of state of Guyana, a president. And I must say that that president is former President David Granger, who joins an illustrious list of historians that would have taken on leadership not only in the Caribbean, but globally. And we've been able to do that because it's part of our vision of creating excellence. As a department, our vision is to be the lead institution responsible for the training and transferring of skills necessary to produce graduates that are intellectually curious and knowledgeable of the art and discipline of history. It is our vision also to be the lead department for the dissemination of historical knowledge and scholarship in Guyana. And it's a vision that we strive to maintain in a jealous manner. It is that vision that fashions the mission statement of the department. And the mission statement basically, as it says here, to prepare students that are globally competitive, equipped with the necessary skills, attributes, and attitudes to be successful in career paths within the field of history as well as other professions. And this is achieved by imparting of transferable knowledge through studies of peoples, societies, cultures, institutions, and economies across a broad chronological and geographical spectrum. The point what I'm saying here is that our program is not designed to be limited only to Guyana and the Caribbean, but our programs offer content that varies across the global geography. And in terms of programs offered, our main program is the Bachelor of Arts degree in History. That degree is a 4-year program. And like I would have said earlier, students would be exposed to a number of geographical areas, as well as study of people's culture institutions that are the building block of historical scholarship. But we also offers a number of courses that services the university community. These include CST, Caribbean Studies 1102, Foundations of the Future Caribbean, CST 1202, Contemporary Issues of the Caribbean. There's a course in Guyana Studies, as well as we offer the HST 2105 and 2205, which is a survey of Guyanese history 1 and 2, as well as the survey of Caribbean history 1 and 2. And specific information for the students who are now joining our program. I would have interacted with quite a few of you prior to now, but just to say that these are the courses that are offered in the first year of the program. I must say that GEO 1101 has changed to GEO 1104, and that is offered within the Faculty of Earth and Environmental Sciences. But the compulsory courses for the purpose of the history degree, they are all compulsory courses, but the very important ones are the history, organization of history, organization and methodology of history 1 and 2, that is compulsory, as well as the Pre-Columbian Society to the Abolition of Slavery, which is HST 124. Now, these courses are offered in the first and second semester, and they're all 4-credit courses. I will now focus on who are the members of the department. It's at the top of the list there is yours truly, Ms. Dwayne Benjamin. I'm the head of the department. We have Dr. Melissa Ifil, who is currently Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of institutional advancement and currently on leave, but will return at some point. We have Ms. Cecilia McCalvin, who's a lecturer, Ms. Estherine Adams, who's currently on leave pursuing her PhD. She should be back by the beginning of next academic year. We have Mrs. Shumaine Joseph Jackson, lecturer, also currently on leave, and Dr. Jeremy Perez. And we have a few part-time lecturers. And let me say that these are those that are confirmed. We have other part-timers that today is not being confirmed. Dr. Nigel Westmus is a part-time lecturer, specializing in Guyanese and European history, basically, but he is overseas, as well as Mrs. Mishka White. All our lecturers are alumni of the, well, with the exception of Dr. Perez, all the others are alumni of the Department of History and Caribbean Studies. The department secretary is Ms. Vashti Raktu, and earlier Assistant Dean spoke about the office being the virtual office. So Ms. Raktu will also be one of the contact persons in that office as well. That is it. I just want to extend a congratulations again to you, the new students of our faculty. and to wish you well with your academic endeavor. It is the beginning of a long, difficult, but not challenging road. Over to you, Assistant Dean.
Thank you very much, Mr. Benjamin. Students, in the chat, the Department of Foundation and Education Management has posted a Zoom link for a meet and greet session, which will be held on Zoom at 7 p.m. Saturday, the 23rd of October, 2021. The link is in the chat. I urge you to copy that link and save it and keep it in a secure location. We'll continue the process of meeting the department leaders in the various departments within the Faculty of Education and Humanities. So we've heard from the Department of Curriculum first, then the Department of Foundation and Education Management, Department of History and Caribbean Studies, and now we will hear from the department, from the next department in our faculty. Dr. DeLissa, next slide, please. So before the next departmental leader comes on, we'll have a cultural item from one of our renowned artists, Mr. Michael Kahn.
The Man, the Wind, and the River by Ivan Forrester. I, the man, sat alone with the wind around me, staring in wonder at the raging river. I dared in a moment's fleeting impulse to embrace the strength and the fury and its indomitable will. But the voice of the river sang to me, "This is the strength that has no weakness, a will that knows no barriers, a fury that shows no mercy, a timeless flow beneath the wind." Silently, I sat alone with the wind around me, staring out at the surging turmoil, and the spirit of the wind spoke again. "This is the strength that lies within you. This is your struggle and fury, the power and the time. Now where is your will?" Then I, the man, stood with the wind around me, straining with the river, trying in vain to feel the strength within me, the power and the struggle, the fury and the time, peering through the mist, my goal to discern, searching for my will. Then my passionate soul cried out, "Let me dissolve my soul with your surging bosom. Let me share your indomitable will. Let me feel the fury and the power and join in your struggle." Now I no longer sit beside the river. I arose from my university of solitude, feeling the strength within me, the power and the fury, picking a way begotten of the will, walking with the river, singing with the wind. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Michael Kahn. That was a very exciting and informative piece, and I'm sure our students, faculty, and other staff enjoyed it tremendously, as I have. We'll now move into the next department, and Dr. DeLissa will introduce this department to you.
Thank you, Dr. Lashley. At this time, I am pleased to introduce you to your faculty leaders in the Department of Language and Cultural Studies. So this department, as you see a screen full, has a lot of different divisions. And our head for that department, Mr. Andrew Kendall, will take you through it. We have on screen, however, Ms. Caroline Cumming-Lindy, who is the head of the Language Center, the Head of Amerindian Research Unit, Mr. Trevon Baird. We have the Modern Languages Unit, Mr. Gudelio Tabares. We have Ms. Charlene Wilkinson from the Guyanese Languages Unit, and Mr. Michael Khan, who you just heard from the Arts Division. So, Mr. Andrew Kendall, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Assistant Dean. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to be here, and I am going to be taking you through some notes on the Department of Language and Cultural Studies.
Mr. Kendall, sorry to interrupt you. Dr. Leland Thompson, can you mute your mic, please? Sorry about that, Mr. Kendall. Can you continue?
No problem. Thanks. So can we go to the next slide, please? So the Department of Language and Cultural Studies, like the Assistant Dean just explained, we have currently, we currently have 6 units: the Amerindian Research Unit, the Creative Arts Unit, the Guyana Languages Unit, the Language Center, the Literature and Linguistics Unit, and the Modern Languages Unit. We are quite diverse as a department. That's because culture and language tends to encompass so much. At the bottom of the slide, there is a quote that says, "Culture is the identity of a society," which is a very important aspect of what we do in this department. The work that we do encompasses a number of varying fields and concepts and ideas. And what I'm going to spend some time doing for the next 10 to 15 minutes is going through some of what that culture and identity is and why it's so important for you as students to be part of that. Even though we have students that do majors in our department, we also do a number of service course and elective courses. So it's very likely that every student here, even if you're not in this department, you are going to come into contact with someone from this department. So the information here might be valuable to you. Next slide. So our first unit is the Amerindian Research Unit. Our coordinator is Trevon Baird, and this unit has a dual purpose. This unit emerged a few decades ago, initially from an interest in looking at Indigenous languages, and it has developed into examining research in Indigenous culture. As we all know, the Indigenous people are a very vital part of Guyanese and Caribbean history. Guyana is very significant as being one of the countries in the region that has a quite large population of Indigenous culture. And as a university, it is part of our mandate to ensure that our work is not just part of the academic hypoli, but also part of the people that are part of our country and of our society. It's very important for us in this department to be part of the reaffirmation and the reassessment and the celebration of Indigenous culture. Alongside that Indigenous research, this unit also does significant work in anthropology. So for example, students might be on that are doing an Associate of Arts degree in anthropology, which is a 2-year course. Some students in history or in other majors also tend to do minor or elective courses in anthropology. Anthropology is an important part of learning about cultures, and one of the reasons that the anthropology unit tends to work alongside the Indigenous culture unit is because historically anthropology, especially Western anthropology, has been used as a way of abusing Indigenous culture. But in our unit, in this department, we are trying to reclaim ethical anthropology that recognizes the value of Indigenous cultures and recognizes the vitality of that diverse range of cultures that forms Guyanese history and Guyanese present. Our next unit is, if you can go to the next slide, is the Creative Arts Unit. You just heard from Michael Khan, who is a lecturer in art. We also have other lecturers, Elodie Kate Smith, Akima McPherson, Winslow Craig. The main degree programs from this unit are the Associate of Arts degree in Fine Arts and the Bachelor of Arts degree in Fine Arts. Students can come into the degree from the Bureau School of Arts and complete 2 more years to get a bachelor's, or they can come from first year with a CSEC pass in visual art, or they can take an art exam to begin the course. Beyond the degree work that happens in this unit, the creative arts unit is also very significant because they assist the university campus-wide work in beautifying the campus, although I know many of you have not been to campus because we're still working digitally. But they also form part of providing courses in other departments. So for example, students who might be in the curriculum and instruction unit might do an elective in art or sometimes in music. Art is, like culture, an important part of developing our identities as Guyanese. And I do encourage those of you who are not in this department to consider this unit as an example of a unit to take some elective courses in. Our next unit is the Guyana Languages Unit. This unit is headed by our coordinator, Ms. Charlene Wilkinson, Ramona Bennett, who is currently on study leave, Seneca Henry, Dr. Delissa, who's one of our assistant deans. This is not an exhaustive list of our members, but this is just some of them. The main teaching that happens from this unit currently is an elective course, which I encourage people in my department and elsewhere to take. It's a course in exploring Guyanese Creole. The name of our department, of course, is Language and Cultural Studies. So you'll notice that language pops up very often in our units, and that's because language is essential to our identities. The way that we speak, the way that we think, the language that we hold valuable is an important part of shaping Guyanese culture. The work that happens in this unit is both interested in our Creole languages as well as our indigenous languages. So very often we'll find the work here working alongside the work in the Amerindian Research Unit. It's very important as adults coming to university that you begin to recognize how our history is shaped by our relationship with language. Recognizing the value of your Creole languages is very important. When you look around the Caribbean region and beyond the Caribbean region, we recognize how so many other countries put so much emphasis and value into their indigenous languages. And it's very important as Guyanese academics, because you're all academics, when you set foot on campus, whether physically or philosophically, you become an academic. And recognizing how your language shapes how you think, how you interact with your present and also your past is very important. I know that Charlene is very interested in hearing from you. If you have an interest in languages, then you all should. I know many degrees offer a chance to an elective, and the GCR 1101 course is a very good course that you can take just to begin to develop your understanding and your appreciation of the Creole language within the Guyanese context. As a unit, all our units take part in community outreach, and the languages unit helps and works with Indigenous communities in protecting their languages and in language rights advocacy. A few months ago, we had a ceremony for translators across the country who were very strategic and instrumental in developing translations of COVID advertisement and policies over the last year. And it's little things like these that shows that language is not just a conceptual thing. Language is how we interact and how we think and how we operate. And having an awareness and a valuing of that is really central to our work here in this unit. Next slide, please. Our next unit is the Language Center. The head of that unit is Ms. Carolyn Cummings-Lindy. One of the central teaching focus of this unit is a course that most of you are going to have to do. In your first year, there are three compulsory courses. You'll take two of them. In the first semester, you'll do Introduction to Use of English, which is ENG 1105. And in your second semester, you will do Use of English or Technical Communication. These courses are meant to introduce you to writing in English academically at a university level. And within this course, you'll understand the context of Guyana's language situation, recognize the value in writing in English, but recognize that writing in English does not happen at the expense of your Creole culture. Language is something that we use to communicate. Recognizing how different languages have different values and uses depending on your situation is important. We are still working in a world that very often does not give recognition to Indigenous languages. So when we work at university level in English, it is not that we are saying that English is superior to other expressions. What we are doing is trying to give you a clear understanding of the dual purposes of Guyanese society as a bilingual society where we speak in English and we also speak in Creole. And this particular course, as a service course given to all students on campus except for a very small few, is a way for you to develop your skills in writing in English, since the majority of your degree program is built around communication using English. The unit also does work in assisting teaching of English as a second language. We also offer courses to the Army and other specific groups that are coming together and trying to develop skills in the language to work within the communities. Next slide, please. Our next unit is the Literature and Linguistics unit. This is a list of some of our lectures. I am a part of this particular unit. There are two major degrees that are offered through this: the Associate of Arts degree in English and the Bachelor of Arts degree in English. The name Bachelor of English is, of course, historical inheritance from decades long of literary studies, because a BA in English is not about English language, it's about English literature. So this is a course in literature and or linguistics. Linguistics and literature tend to work together. So if you are doing this particular strand of a degree, you'll start off with the first 2 years doing a mix of both linguistics and literature courses. And in your final 2 years, you will choose to either specialize in one strand or a dual strand. We also do work in representations of culture, indigeneity. You would have noticed that Ramona Bennett's name popped up earlier because she does teaching in this field, but she also does research in Indigenous culture. She's currently doing her PhD research in representations of Indigenous culture in 19th century travel writing. And it's that kind of cultural examination that ties together language, culture, Indigenous studies, linguistics that our department is focused on. Next slide. Our next unit is the Modern Languages unit, which is headed by Gudelio Sierra Tabares. These are some of our lecturers. We have BA studies in Spanish, French, and Portuguese. And just like with the Language Center, it's very likely that most students who come onto campus are going to have to do an elective in a modern language or a foreign language. I don't think I need to tell you why that's important, but I still will. We are living in particularly nebulous times geographically. We are at a turning point in terms of geopolitics. And it's very important as persons that are at a critical juncture in the world, but also geographically pivotal in terms of our shared relationship with South America and the Caribbean, for us to have an awareness and knowledge of multiple languages. Language is for communication, but it's also a commodity. And it's important as young academics coming into a new environment for you to recognize how an awareness and a knowledge of a second or even a third language puts you in good stead to ensure that your culture is not made immobilized or disappeared by someone else. When you have access to other languages, you're able to negotiate and navigate the world more effectively. It doesn't do us well if many people know our language and theirs, but we only know ours. Language becomes cultural cash, and learning a second language, you can even do a minor in one of these languages, is a good way of developing not just your knowledge, but also a way of bolstering your cultural identity so that you can now go on to tell people who speak other languages something about your own culture. Next slide, please. So that I've gone through the unit, I want to talk very briefly about what culture is, because it's one of the names in our department, Language and Cultural Studies. And this is a quote here from a very important Caribbean theorist called Stuart Hall, and he spoke about culture, and he said that it's not something which already exists, transcending place, time, or history. Instead, cultural identities come from somewhere equipped with histories. Instead, it is something that is transformed and developed. I've put two very brief working definitions at the bottom of the screen. Language is used for communication. It is used for ideas. It's used for literature and linguistics. And then we have culture, which is used for anthropology, cultural studies, and literary studies. And you can think of our department as an amalgamation of those two concepts. Culture is a way of life. Our culture is how we exist in the world. I say this very often to students that when you think of the great countries that sometimes use their power effectively but unethically, the way that they're able to have that kind of big reach globally, it is not always through their science and their tech and their economics and their math, it's through their culture, it's through their language, it's through the films that we watch, the music we listen to, the books that we read. And it's very important for us as Guyanese people in a precarious time in our country and in the region for us to recognize the value and the power of our culture and our identity and our language. Even if you're not doing a major in this department, if you have the possibility of coming into contact with whether it's a linguistics course or a modern language course or a Creole course or a literature course, I implore you to think about that and to have this department in your head as a potential place for an elective or a minor. Thinking of and valuing and learning about how cultural pushes can shape the world is very integral right now, and that is the work that we're doing in this department. Next slide. So I just very briefly put up what the degree structure is going to look like for you. I don't want to bog you down with too much information and notes because you will learn all of this as you go through the department. But just very briefly, if anybody here is not a first-year student, or even if you are and you already want to start taking notes, when you are doing a bachelor degree in this department, you have to do a total of 120 credits. If you're doing the Associate of Arts degree in English, you do 72, or in anthropology, it's 60. This information and all the information I'm going to be saying here will be available to you when the semester starts, and I'm going to be available for office hours during the week, and that's going to come up on a slide subsequently. Next slide, please. So what are majors, minors, and electives? I've used those words if I'm wondering what they are. So major is a structured sequence of courses providing specialized knowledge in a particular study area. So for example, I did a degree in English, that was my major. But I was also tasked, so all persons in this department who do a bachelor's degree have to do a minor in something. The minor credits vary according to what field you're in. But a minor is an unstructured course of study that provides knowledge in any kind of field that you want. So you have your major, and your minor will be about 1/5 or 1/6 of your degree. If you're in this department and you have to choose a minor, the sky is the limit. Any field that you want to study that's not your major, students tend to do law, tourism, they might do a minor in the department. So for example, students might do a major in English and a minor in Portuguese, or a major in Spanish and a minor in French. Or you can do your minor in the faculty. Some people do a minor in history or a minor in education, or a minor out of the faculty. So it can be agriculture or sociology or psychology. It's a way for students to be encouraged to move beyond their limited focus, because even as university study tends to be quite narrow in focus, having a minor or an elective gives you a chance to move beyond your limits. An elective is essentially just an unrestricted course. A minor is a group of courses, but an elective is just a single course. So for example, in some of the fields, you have to do one single faculty elective, and I've encouraged you to look at some options in our department. For example, there is the Exploring Guyanese Creole course, there is an Art Appreciation course. Some students take minors in a linguistics course or an anthropology course. There is so much happening in this department for so many different modes of interest. So I encourage you to reach out to me, or one of my coordinators will be happy to assist you in advising you on what courses can be taken as electives if you're not in this particular department. Next slide. things that define study in this department. I put up this pyramid: issues of identity, of colonialism, of sex and sexuality and gender, critique, criticisms, argument, and aesthetics. If any of these words here are foreign to you, by the time your first semester is finished, they'll all make sense. But if you're very diligent, I would suggest that you start thinking about what these words mean, because this is how academic study begins. The dean and assistant dean have all said that because we're working digital and because you are at a tertiary level, you now become in control of your study, and little things like checking every word that you hear, asking questions, doing follow-ups are part of that. Next slide, please. What you get from your lecturers. As the head of the department and as a lecturer, I am committing to these 4 pillars of teaching. You have competent lecturers. We are going to be consistent. We are going to show due care and due respect. It is important that we give you that, so your time here is one that is clear and it's not erratic. We've all been students before. I know what it's like to be a student when you're uncertain about what to expect. So I am providing you with that assurance that we are going to be giving you these 4 pillars. If anything pops up, we are here to assist you. Next slide. And in turn, this is what we expect from you: participation, focus, respect, and attention. Anything more would be great, but we can't expect you to be perfect, just like we won't be perfect. But once we have a reciprocal relationship where we are sharing symbiotically in information and learning and feeling and understanding, then anything is possible. Next slide. I'm coming towards the end. This is just a very brief guidance to you on making the most of your time here. I've tried not to be too pedantic with my information because I know you are trying to adjust to this week of modes of information. Academic study at university level can be challenging, but it is manageable. Life in the department depends on a number of varied things. These are some suggestions. Nothing here is mandated, but things that help you. Take control of your relationship with your work. Seek help when you need it. Recognize that your courses are part of the world around you. I always find it very jarring when students hear that, there is university life and there is the real world. University life is the real world. The topics you do here are part of the real world, and recognizing that will make you better equipped to being effective in your study here. Read ahead, work ahead, take into consideration your social, personal, professional, domestic life. Some of you are working. That means you have to be particularly diligent about setting boundaries, setting times. We know that if you're having issues and we do not know you're having issues, we cannot assist you. So it's very important for you to immediately set up how you plan to navigate through this new experience, new, challenging, but rewarding. It does not mean difficult, and nothing is beyond your competency. Otherwise, you wouldn't have made it into the university. Self-study, though, is critical. You must read ahead. You must check things before you come to class. Ask for the syllabus, read beyond that. It might seem difficult at first, but the more you do it, the more you are able to do it consistently. It's all about practicing and working that muscle. Next slide, please. So what to expect over the first semester. Work starts in week 1. So next week on Monday, you're gonna have classes. Do not skip them. You're gonna get your course outlines. I think this mentioned that you wouldn't get access to Moodle until Monday, which is a bit unfortunate, but you'll have to hit the ground running. Ensure that you are hearing from your lecturers. If you're not, you'll get my contact information chart, so you can always reach out to me. Develop time management, check your due dates, and I cannot say this enough. Ask for help. You can come to the coordinators, to me as head of the department, to the assistant deans, to the deans, to former students. Ask for help. I cannot stress that enough. Next slide. I wanted to end with this painting here, not just because this department has to do with art, but because it's something that I think is very valuable. This is a painting by a French painter called Georges Seurat, and it's actually a painting that's part of a play that I've taught to my students. So it's an intersection of art, it's a musical play, so it's music, but it's also literature. And this is a painting of a particular style called pointillism. This painting is actually made up of dots. It was the first major work to be made up completely of dots. So if you were to zoom in on it, you don't have to zoom in, but if you were, you would see that each of these bits of this painting is a dot that he painstakingly put together. It took him months to do it. And if you think of your academic life as a painting, every day is a dot. You wouldn't really see the dot farming as you're doing it because you're just going through the motions. But at the end of it, you're gonna have a painting. And it's up to you now to decide what kind of dot you wanna put forward. Do you wanna put forward a dot that has a bright color, that's evocative and impressionistic? Or do you want to be casual and laissez-faire about it? You are in control of your study about the painting you're gonna do in the next 4 years. So I wanna implore you to do it little by little, dot by dot by dot, and you'll be able to get through this time here and create something that you are proud of. Next slide. This is the end of my, and I see that one of my colleagues said in the chat, dots of love, courage, confidence, conviction, music, dance, friendship. Thank you, Charlene. That's very poetic. This is my last slide. Well, my last two slides. This is my contact information. I have office hours twice a week. Even if I don't teach you, you're free to come. I'll just be logged on if nobody comes. It's gonna be looking at myself. But if you want to just have a chat or have some advice on anything, you are free to just log on. The information is there, or you can send me an email. And the next slide, which is my last slide, are the contact information for all of my coordinators, Trevon, Charlene, Carolyn, Fidelio, and Michael. I have Fidelio's incorrect last name. It's Tabares, not Sierra. You'll hear more from me over the course of the next few days. Each first year student in this department is going to be assigned a lecturer as a pastoral supervisor, because I know you're going to be having some difficulty in adapting, and I know what it's like to be in a new place, especially when you're not there physically. It's a little bit more daunting, and we're here to assist you and to help you. It doesn't matter if you're a little bit nervous, if it takes you a while to get used to it. Your work here is going to be rewarding, not just for you, but probably for your families and for people to come after you. And I just want to say, take it easy, but also go into the future with confidence and with grace. So thank you, assistant deans, and thank you to our students.
Thank you, Mr. Kendall. You've presented your student with quite valuable information, and as Ms. Wilson put it poetically, quite information for a dance in the Faculty of Language and in the Department of Language and Cultural Studies, sorry. Now, as we continue in the presentation of leaders within the Faculty of Education Humanities, we are pleased to present you the Department of Research and Graduate Studies, which is headed by the experienced Dr. Leland Thompson and supported by the gentle coordinator, Ms. Jill Medford. Dr. Thompson and Ms. Medford, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lashley. I must apologize. I believe I disrupted the broadcast for a little while. It was a welcome phone call, but with unwelcome news. My coordinator, Ms. Medford, mentioned that she had a power outage at the time. I just hope that it's back by now. Anyway, students, continuing students, those will be our master students, master education students. And we have our brand new students who will be from the department, the postgraduate department. Now, as the name of the department indicates, Research and Graduate Studies, this department is the graduate section of the faculty. And we offer two sets of courses. The master's courses, that's the Master of Education, which I mentioned, we have some continuing students. We don't have any master education students as new students. However, we have some good news to the master students. Hopefully in the not too distant future, we'll be offering our doctoral program. We have Professor Stafford Griffith from UWIU has joined us, and hopefully, as I mentioned, in not too distant future, all our master students who want to do a PhD or, well, a doctoral program, let's call it a doctoral program, hopefully not too far away. That event is not too far away. Now, in terms of our continuing student, our new students, the postgraduate students, the coordinator, Miss Medford, would have provided some slides. I do hope, I know Miss Medford, are you around? Miss Medford?
Dr. Thompson, it seems you'll have to proceed.
Right.
She what?
I'm not seeing her. No,
Oh,
she's not on.
Okay, well.
But we have the slides, so you can go ahead.
Put them, yeah, you can put them. Let me say a little bit about the postgraduate program. From what I remember, our slides would have had.
We have the slides, Dr. Thompson, so I'll just put them up and you could speak to them.
Okay, do that for me. Do that. Thank you. Now, the dependent program, that's the Diploma in Education program, offer 3 tracks. That's the Diploma in Education, higher education, and that's something new that we started not so long ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. The Diploma in Education, Education Administration, which is a very popular program. Diploma in Education, Secondary Education. And this is for individuals who are in the secondary level. You have a degree in mathematics or science, and you want some teaching qualification, this is the program for you. Our higher education, and this is the program where you'll have university lecturers, individuals with PhD. So students in the DPED program, you'll find yourself sitting in class, in the same class with individuals with PhDs or Masters in Education program. So you'll be in good company in some of your classes. Okay, in terms of the 1-year program, you'll find yourself doing a practicum, which is a teaching component. You must be teaching. You'll be visited at your particular institution. Instructional strategies in higher education. The adult learner, because we feel that particular course, we feel that anybody in higher education will be teaching adults more or less, rather than what we call pupils or students. And therefore, they should have a bit of understanding of how you deal with individuals who are adults and not the regular students that you're accustomed to in a primary or secondary school. And of course, the other programs, the theory education. And I must mention this program, although we have individuals with PhD, this is not a PhD level program. This is a program that provides basic knowledge that any teacher is supposed to have. And therefore, the level wouldn't be at the master's level or the PhD level, because remember, we have other individuals with just a 4th degree in this program. So I hope that our colleagues or students who will have come in or be in that program with very high qualification will be thinking carefully of what we are trying to achieve in this program. We are trying to provide you with knowledge that will make you a very good teacher. You have your discipline, you know the level of your discipline. We're not going to interfere with that. Next. Next slide. Okay, I mentioned about the higher education track, about the focus and so. Next slide, please. This will be the administration program, which is the more popular or the most popular of our programs. And these are for individuals who are actually involved in administrative duties in the schools, be it a secondary school, be it maybe even a business. But the important aspect of this program is that you must teach for at least 12 hours. And that can be a bit difficult for some individuals outside of the school system. Next. Well, the administration track, the literature here says the program targets educators which develop skills and competencies in educational leadership and management. It is expected that with your level of experience in leadership, you will be able to evaluate and apply the theoretical knowledge that you will be gaining from doing this program. Again, you'll have to be in a position of leadership and you'll have to be able to teach for at least 12 hours a week. Again, there's a practicum. And this is the secondary level. As I mentioned, the secondary level looks at individuals with qualification in social studies, science, business studies, modern language, mathematics, English. It's basically a fifth year level program for individuals with these qualifications. And this qualification in mathematics, business, modern language, English. This 1 year program makes you, or hopefully will make you, a better teacher or a qualified person, a qualified teacher, let's put it that way. Next. Okay, you can move on from there. Next. The coordinator's role. Matters relating to helping students to overcome the challenges they are likely to face while completing their program of study. Refers you to the competent persons on campus and faculty community who will be able to help you in your challenging situations. And this is Michael, the coordinator, who is suffering from a power outage at the moment. Next. The coordinator continues helping to some of the challenges which I have made aware of, including the following challenges of learning remotely, connectivity issues, which he's having right now, cross-faculty timetabling issues, and feeling alone, not being able to reach lectures of faculty members. And this is where the coordinator comes in. Next. Helping students to succeed. One of the coordinators' function. And of course, everybody wants to succeed. And I do hope the support may require ensuring students attend right classes, ensuring that students are assigned to a practicum supervisor, ensuring students get their grades in a timely manner, making sure that students provided with answers to queries about program they are registered to do, providing answers to students' questions regarding registration, timetable, exemptions, and assessment in a timely manner. These are the areas that the coordinator will be of great assistance. Next. Well, the coordinator says she is advising you to think about your practicum in terms of how you might want to improvise in order to deliver a lesson to be observed by a supervisor. Of course, COVID-19, because of COVID-19, we have some special ways of getting our practicum done, and you'll be providing with information on this in a later date. Okay, just one little bit more, if I will, or could, about the master's students who are continuing. Most of you are doing your final semester of coursework. Some of you will commence your thesis, specifically those who are still doing coursework. I want to advise you at this stage, I hope the others would have done it, those who are doing thesis now. You're supposed to those courses remaining, those specialist courses remaining, make sure you pay keen attention to the theories in those courses, because these are the theories that you might need to help you in coming up or putting together a topic for your study. Pay careful attention to what you're doing, your specialist courses, so that when you are about to write, you're not going to thinking that you got to go back into your books to look. Make all the notes that you could, read up a little more about every theory that comes up in the 2 specialist courses you're doing. For those who are commencing their thesis at this moment, who are just doing thesis, I'll advise you keep in touch with your supervisor. Even if your supervisor is not keeping in touch with you, it's your interest to make sure that you keep in touch with your supervisor so that you can have timely advice in the progress of your work. Students continuing on both and new students, welcome to the Department of Research and Graduate Studies. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Thompson. Of course, Dr. Thompson was able to step in quite easily for our coordinator who was absent, and we thank you very much for that. I'm sure he will be able to answer all your questions relating to the DPED program that Ms. Medford would have wanted to be here to answer. So let us continue in our program. And at this point, we have the UGBC coordinator's presentation. Our UGBC coordinator is Ms. Kamani Kadaru, and we have her contact detail there. Ms. Kamani Kadaru is here. However, she has prepared a video presentation for you. So if you could sit back and relax and let us watch this video. Okay, great. Thank you for that, Ms. Kedaru. Oh my, internet is unstable. Are you still hearing me? Dr.
We are hearing you,
Lashley,
but that
I'm not
video
sure
isn't playing very well. So I suggest are you hearing me?
Well, it is now time. Yes, I am hearing you. I just saw the note came up that my internet is unstable. I am so sorry. But thank you very much, Ms. Kedaru, for your video, well put together. I am sorry because of the internet connection. It was not played properly. I now understand. From my end, it looked okay. All right, so at this point, I believe it is a time that our students have been waiting for. We would like to open your mics. We would like to see the hands being raised. We would like to allow you to ask your questions and for us to have a very interactive and informative discussion. So let me see, I shall go right ahead. Let me just, Dr. Lashley, you can feel free to jump in. So in terms of the hands, I will go with the hands that are raised first, and then we can also seek to answer some of those questions in the chat that are not yet answered via the text. All right, so in terms of hands, I am seeing, okay, I am having horrible weather. I don't know if you could hear that, but sorry about that. In terms of hands, I am seeing Ashmini Narayan. Ashmini, you can unmute your mic and you could go ahead with your question, please. Okay, I'm seeing where Ashmini lowered her hand, but she is not unmuted. I'm not sure if you would like to speak. Okay, we will go right ahead to seeing Mr. and Mrs. Wins, do you have a question? You could also go ahead, please. I'm seeing your hands. All right, so I'm not
Dr.
sure.
Melissa?
Yes, Dr. McBean.
Yes. Before we go to the question and answer, please permit me to inform the students from the Department of Foundation and Education Management, Early Childhood, Primary Administration, and Youth and Community Development. I would like to inform those students that all courses in the department will begin on November 1 instead of October 25. And the reason being is that the department is offering a semester 3. So we are now wrapping up semester 3. So courses in our department will begin 1 week late. So all courses offered by the Department of Foundation will begin November 1 week late. That's number one. The second point is that I placed in the chat our meet and greet for new students for the department. We usually have a meet and greet where we informally chat, answer questions and so on. We guide students about their Moodle page. We guide students about the SRMS on their application registration, etc. So we will do that on Saturday evening at 7 p.m. I think it was placed in the chat. So I just wanted to say those two things before we moved into the question and answer. Thank you.
And Dr. Delissa, sorry
Dr.
about that.
Okay.
Sorry about the raised hands. This is Mrs. Wins.
That's fine, Mrs. Wings. Thank you, Dr. McBean. So we'll continue answering the questions. Most of the questions in the chat have been, in the Q&A that have been written, has been answered. So students, if you have questions, kindly raise your hands and we will unmute your mics so you can ask your questions. So we have Kim Bryan. Kim Bryan, go ahead. Kim Bryan, your mic is, you're allowed to unmute your mic. Go ahead, please.
Sorry, sir, that hand raise was an error.
Okay, Orin Stanley.
Yeah, good afternoon, panelists. Good afternoon, everyone. I joined the webinar a bit late, but anyway, I'll go ahead with my question. I would like to know, because I'm a teacher and I know there will be many teachers. I would like to know when the timetable would be issued to us and if it would be sent to our email, or we have to request the timetable individually, and how can we go about doing so?
Horin, the timetable is, good afternoon, Horin. The timetable is on the faculty's webpage. That's the Faculty of Education and Humanities webpage, and it's right under the heading timetable on the webpage. Alternatively, you can find the first draft of the timetable in the Telegram group and also on the faculty's webpage. Timetable is a general timetable for the faculty, and all the courses, their time, their lectures are on that timetable, and you can access it on any of these platforms. Yes, sir.
Can I ask what is the webpage address for the webpage?
Just in your Google search, type in Faculty of Education and Humanities, University of Guyana, and it pops up.
All right, thanks. So I could download that and send it to my school.
You can download that and then you fill up the release form.
Yeah, I already have the release form. All right, thanks a lot, sir. And what about tutorial sessions? I know we'll get tutorial sessions later on, so those wouldn't be included on the timetables yet.
On the timetable for courses that have preset tutorial times, they are on the timetable. Alternatively, you'll find those, you'll discuss those with your lecturers in your individual courses.
Okay, thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot.
You're most welcome. So we have Shazim Mohammed.
Hi, sir. Present. Good afternoon to all of you.
Good afternoon, Shazim. Go ahead.
Yes, this timetable, when we carry it, I'm a secondary teacher. When we carry it into our school, does it need to be signed?
Yes, Shazim, you complete the timetable release form by looking at the faculty's timetable. You sign it, you date it, and you send it for the assistant deans to sign it at FEH. I'll put it in the chat, the link in the chat, the email address in the chat, and you send it there. One of the assistant deans will sign it on behalf of the faculty, and then your ed teacher need to sign it before you send it to the Ministry of Education.
That'll be scanned copies?
Yes, you email it to the address I'm putting in the chat at the moment.
Okay. And next thing, if you don't see some of your courses on the timetable or if they're clashing, what do we do?
You report clashes to the assistant deans. The only courses you will not see on the timetable are practicum and research. And when the HOD is presented, as well as assistant deans, they inform you that practicum and research are never placed on the timetable because they are arbitrarily discussed and agreed upon between the supervisors assigned to the student for those two courses because of the practical nature of those courses. So those are the only courses you will not see on your timetable, research and practical.
Dr. Lashley,
go ahead, Dr. Delissa.
Thanks. If I may just add also, depending on the program that he's doing, if he needs to be doing cross-faculty courses, you would need to consult the cross-faculty timetables, the other timetables for the other faculties. So I have put those timetables, the current drafts, in the Telegram group. So you have access to everything at your fingertips via the Telegram group. If you're not yet in the Telegram group, we implore you to join now. Thank you.
And the link for the Telegram group as well is in the chat.
I'm looking at them. So thank you very much for that. And pertaining to the practicum, how would we know when to start?
Your supervisors for practicum will be assigned to you by your various HODs, and those lecturers, those supervisors will reach out to you directly as students.
All right, thank you very much.
Please note, just a footnote to that too, that you will not be assigned immediately to practicum or research supervisors, because this is normally done at the end of the registration period. So please give us a couple of weeks before you will get such information.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Lashley and Dr. Did I get the name correct?
Delissa, it's okay.
Delissa.
Dr.
Thank you very
Delissa.
much, Dr. Delissa.
Yeah,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Dr.
Delissa.
McLean, go ahead.
Yes.
Thank you.
I love that you made a point that students should give us some time before inquiring about practicum and research. The same could be said to timetable. I would not recommend that students submit timetable within the first or second week until clashes are sorted out. Because if you're to submit your timetable, for example, next week, you will have clashes, you will have to change, you will have to resubmit a timetable. So give yourself a week or two, sort out all clashes, etc., before submitting your timetable.
Thanks very much for that, Dr. McLean.
Yes, and we have posted that information as well in the chat and in the Q&A. So we continue to take your questions, students. So just raise your hands and we'll try to answer those. As Dr. Delissa pointed out before, in the Telegram group, we've placed the timetable for the other faculties, so you'll know if you have cross-faculty courses, you can check there as well. Again, the link for the Telegram group has been placed in the chat by me.
And Dr. Delissa, do you have a timeline when the second draft of the timetable might be out so students could look forward to that version?
Well, at this point, we are now getting into the clashes. More than likely, students are not aware of their clashes until, probably next week and so on, because some classes will be changing in other faculties and so on. So
Yes.
maybe not until the end of next week when we have enough information coming in, if there are any clashes and so on. Students, however, can look forward to... Okay, can we all mute, please? Students can look forward to a different draft of the timetable this week, because the draft that we have in the Telegram group and online at the moment is the PDF draft. However, we will be putting different draft in Excel, which would allow them to search easier for their courses. And on that draft, you will have a list of all your lecturers and their contact details. So that information, you could always reach out to them. So you can look forward to that timetable. But on that timetable, the class times will not be changed as yet. So not until probably around the end of next week. Thank you, Dr. Natbeen.
Again, just a gentle reminder, all the information, forms, and so forth that you'll need to make your life easy is in the Telegram group. That's your release form, your timetables for other faculties. All the information that you'll need for students is in the Telegram group or on the faculty's webpage. Yes, for the first semester, all classes will remain online. And this has been repeated continuously throughout the presentation this afternoon. So just for emphasis, all classes during the first semester of the academic year 2021-2022 will remain online.
Thank you, Dr. Lashley. I am just going to answer some questions from the chat. I will also open the mics, well, allow the other people with their hands up to speak. But I'm noting a question: is there a timetable for UGBC Agriculture Science? Yes, there is the timetable for UGBC that is also shared in the Telegram group. You will not find agriculture science timetable separate and apart from the others. All the courses are listed, but in terms of agricultural science here, I am not clear if you are referring to our Faculty of Education and Humanities secondary education program in agricultural science. I hope that is what you're referring to, or you're referring to agricultural science in terms of their BSc in agricultural science, which is not offered by our faculty, which we would not be able to answer. So if you could provide some clarification there, but our FEH timetable for UGBC is very much in the Telegram group also. Thank you.
The Telegram group, Dr. Delissa, I'm answering for a student. The Telegram group, but the link is in the chat. It's the one Telegram group for the entire Faculty of Education and Humanities. So that's for both UGBC and UG third kind. So it is not a group that is distinguished by program. It's the one group for the entire faculty, and we'll make all information readily available there for students. Go ahead, Dr. Delissa.
Okay, so in the chat, I am seeing another question from an anonymous attendee. Good afternoon, all. I have registered for the primary education program and submitted the registration, but I haven't received any invoice or such as to paying the money for my courses. Okay, so when you submit your registration, before your invoice is generated, you have to get approval from the HOD and from the assistant deans. Once that is done, your invoice is generated. You can go on the SRMS, the same registration page, and you can go to invoices. You have a tab which will show you your invoice and your summary, financial summary. So you could go to those tabs, and that is where you'll be able to download your invoice in order to make any payment. Thank you for that question. Okay, I'm seeing other questions about timetabling, but I believe those are answered. The link to the Telegram chat, those are answered. I note Jita Dudnath Ramatar, sorry, hand is raised, and I think your mic is open. Do you have a question for us? You could go ahead, please.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, miss. I was just trying to find out how do I get access to the Telegram group. I know you say we have to download it, but like I'm not finding. If you could just resend the link in the chat so that we could get it.
The link was resent in the chat. If you look, you can find it in the chat. So that was done. Do you have any other questions or that's all?
That's all for now, miss. I was on and off all day with the internet problem, so I missed a few things, but I guess I'll get that later on.
Yes, the session is being recorded and it will be made available to you. So if you have missed something, that is fine. We will always have this for you so you could check the recordings. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much too.
Okay, next up is Onicia Fredericks. Onicia, you could unmute your mic and go ahead with your question.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm sorry, the raised hand was a mistake.
Okay, no problem at all. I am seeing Tanaz Khan.
Hello.
Go ahead, Tanaz.
Good afternoon. I'm a new student in my first year, and I have on the timetable, my course is UGC 1101. I was wondering if this was from a different faculty, and could you direct me to that faculty, please?
It belongs to the faculty.
I'm not sure which course.
It belongs to the Faculty of Natural Sciences, UGC 1101 and 1201. They're both Faculty of Natural Sciences.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you for your question. We have next up is Narika Baird Nazio. Narika, you could go ahead. I'm not sure. I see your hand is lowered. If you no longer have a...
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to ask my question, Madam. It is in relation to the next past 2 weeks, since we are to expect the final of the timetable. I would like to know if the sessions or the classes will be recorded for those students like myself who would need the release or the final timetable before we could actually attend sessions, or would we be released from classes, which is school session, to attend these classes, since it would be online during the course of the day.
Okay, thank you for your question. First of all, I would like to implore that you do not wait until your timetable is signed before you attend the classes. You need to attend all your classes, so we will not be barring you from attending classes if your timetable is not signed. In terms of the release, I do believe that the administrators are aware of the process, in the sense that your timetable is never ready for the first day of class. So I would expect that you would be given the time off to attend classes online, as we have them for the first semester. The timetables will be signed as soon as you are confirmed in terms of your classes. It is just a case that we want to caution you not to necessarily try to get them signed right away, because it is likely that we will be having to change some of those times based on clashes. However, once you're confirmed and you're confident that this is it, you can send us your timetable and we'll be very happy to sign it. I'm not sure if anyone would like to add to my response. Dr. McBean, Dr. Lashley?
Dr. Lisa.
Yes, go ahead, please.
On a point of courtesy, what the students can do, they can let the principal know that this is just a temporary draft of the timetable, and they're requesting that permission to attend classes at UG until it is finalized. So just on a point of courtesy, rather than just assuming that they don't have a timetable, a final timetable now, and they're just staying away from school to attend the classes. So just inform the leader of the school.
Thank you very much for that, Dr. Brown. Okay, I will go back to the question and answer segment here. I would like to know if this orientation would be recorded and sent to our email. Well, we have already indicated that the orientation is being recorded. However, we did not say that it would be sent to your email. More than likely, we will put the link in the Telegram group, so you'll be able to access it from there. We will also post this on our Facebook page, so you'll be able to, again, have access. But to send it to your emails at this point, unfortunately, that will not be an option for us. Thank you for your question, Devika Singh. Another question from an anonymous attendee. Good afternoon. I am seeing October 25th due date for fees, and it was mentioned here fees are due until December 10. Kindly assist. Okay, so classes start on October 25th, that is next week, Monday. We do have the deadline for payment of fees is December 10. That is the information that you will have from the academic calendar. The academic calendar is also available to you via the Telegram group. What I will do for you is to probably repost it so that it is fresh for those coming in. You will note from the Telegram group, however, that you have access to the history. So all the documents that were posted before you joined the group, you will have access to. So based on the calendar, definitely December 10 is the deadline for payment of fees. I would like to say at this point, however, as was said earlier in the presentation, that if you are having issues with regard to payment of your fees, that you should reach out to the Deputy Registrar Office. You could get him via email, depreg, depreg@uog.edu.gy. Send an email and request the payment plan if you know that you will not be able to pay your fees by this due date. The university is currently very lenient with our students during the pandemic, but you will need to reach out and to do your part. Thank you.
Dr. Delisa, can you go back to the slide that has our contact information on it? Students are requesting the contact information. Can you return to the slide with those information on it?
Okay, so is that the information with just our name, Dr. Lashley? Because I could just go to the next slide and it will
go
be
to the
there
slide
again.
with all the access information for the leaders.
Okay, so all of those would be in different slides for the various departments.
Leave this one up for now, and then I'll tell you when to change it. Thank you very much.
Okay,
I'll
great.
look as they respond. Thank you.
All right. I want to just point out too that we have somewhere in the history in the Telegram group all the contact information for all our faculty leaders. We will be able to put that back in this group again, just so for you to be able to get it freshly without having to dig through everything that is in the group. So we'll put that back for you. Yeah, so don't worry too much about necessarily screenshotting or typing down information at this point. So we can simply put that information for you in the Telegram group. Okay, so Dr. Lashley, I'm seeing two hands, Shalika and Irene. Okay, if we could take both of them before answering additional messages from the Q&A. So Shalika,
sure, definitely.
go ahead, please.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I've been looking at a timetable. Well, I'll be doing agricultural science. So I've been looking at the timetable from the faculty. And I was wondering if the chemistry courses, if all would be in that same faculty, because I've also seen the same course name in the natural science faculty. So I was wondering if it's just a strictly agricultural timetable I have to look at.
Dr. Delissa, I can take that one.
Go ahead, Mr. Khan.
Yes, the agri student will have to do these courses in the Faculty of Natural Sciences. They're offered by Natural Sciences. Hope
Okay,
that answers your
so,
questions.
so
Yes,
that's the
okay.
chemistry courses in natural
Yes.
science.
Yes.
Okay. And the others would be from the agriculture faculty.
Well, any course labeled E usually is education courses.
Yes,
Then
I've recognized that.
Okay, thank you for your question. Are you, do you have other questions,
That
Shalika?
would be it for now. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you. Irene, you could go ahead, please. Thank you, Mr. Khan.
Good afternoon, all.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, ma'am. I have two queries. What I would have applied for the education administration program. I just want confirmations. Ms. McBean said earlier that classes will commence for us on November the 1st. That's I noticed on my timetable, I have a class as early as 9 on Monday morning. So instead of joining class from the 25th of October, we are joining on the 1st of November. Am I correct?
No, you aren't.
Okay.
The courses offered by the Department of Foundation will begin on November 1. Only some of those courses are offered by the Department of Foundation. And we will put on the Moodle platform when our courses will begin. There are many courses that you will be doing that belong to other departments, other faculties. Those will begin or should begin or are scheduled to begin on October 25.
All right.
On
Thank
Saturday, when we meet as a department, we will give all students the courses belonging to education, foundation and education. But one thing that students could do is just go on the UG webpage, check out the courses. You just type in your course code and you will be able to see which department those courses belong to, because I heard some questions about when this courses will, when this particular course will be offered, which department a particular course might belong to. We could find that information for ourselves as students. We just need to know where to go. And once we put that course code in the system, it will show us this course belongs to the Department of Foundation, which faculty, etc. So that's one thing our new students should start exploring, where our courses belong, which department, which faculty, etc. Yes.
All right, thank you, Miss. Your last part there, I would have answered my second question. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Shalika. Thank you, Dr. McBean. I am seeing Irene, Robina Safi. Irene, you could go ahead, please.
I just asked the question, Miss.
Okay, great.
Miss
Sorry
McBean
about
just
that.
answered me. Thank
Right,
you.
right. Sorry about that. And I know that Shalika's question was also answered, but I see her hand is still raised. Well, it's down now. Good. Okay, so back to the Q&A. We have a question here. It was partially answered, I believe. The Ministry of Education required teachers to complete an application for release form. One part of the form requires the signature of lecturers, tutors, and the signature and stamp of the dean of the faculty. My question is, will this be done physically or digitally? I am already in possession of the form. Okay, based on this question, there are few little things I want to caution to ensure that you have the correct form, because I note you spoke about the signature of lecturers, tutors, and the stamp, and the dean, signature of the dean of the faculty. At this point, the form that you should have, which is available via the Telegram page, also is a form that requires only the signature of the assistant dean. So ensure that you have the right form. Previously, we have been using forms where lecturers needed to sign. We are no longer requiring our lecturers to sign. So please ensure that you have the correct form. In terms of the question whether it will be done physically or digitally, I believe that was answered earlier. It will be digitally. You need to send it to the email Dr. Lashley put in the chat, feh.releasetimetable@gmail.com. Right, so once that is done, then we will sign the form and we will return it to you. Note the form, we have two versions, a Word version, which is easy for most people to fill. And there is also the PDF, the fillable PDF version that we would allow you to sign and send to us also. So you don't need to necessarily download and scan and so on. All right, thank you. I note another question here. I am going to ask probably Mr. Kendall if he could speak to this. Hi, I enrolled in the translation program. Am I in the right place? Have you guys talked about any postgraduate courses, postgraduate student courses? Mr. Kendall, I'm not sure if you want to respond to that question.
I thank you, Assistant Dean. Yes, he is in the right place. I didn't speak specifically about the postgraduate program, but we will be contacting the postgraduate students today after some clarification from the Modern Languages Department.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kendall. Okay. This, I believe, was answered. Good afternoon. I have joined the meeting late due to not having the link. However, can you please assist me in getting access to the timetable for the Bachelor of Education, Primary Education? So that was already answered. The timetable is available via the FEH website, via our Telegram group and our Facebook page. Okay, good afternoon. How can I make a change to the program that I initially chose to something else? In order to make a change to your program, you would need to submit a change of registration. In that change of registration, there is the option for you to change your program and also to change courses. For a change of program, of course, you would need to select that button or that tab for you to change your program, but this is done via the SRMS. I would suggest that you liaise with your HOD before you make any changes to your programs. Anyone would like to add anything to that? You could go right ahead.
Yes, Dr. Delis. With regard to change of program, what I've been encouraging our student is that change of program, change of courses, etc. The information is quite clear when you log on to the SRMS. But at this time, change of courses, you do not need to click on change of registration because this is not the time for that. We only click on change of registration as is indicated on the SRMS instruction page after the AR would have approved. If the AR did not approve your registration, just as Dr. DeLessa said, you reach out to your heads and ask your heads or the deputy dean to return your normal online registration for you to make whatever changes you need to make. Do not click on change of registration at this time because now is not the time for change of registration. There is a period for that. And once you read the instruction, you will see exactly when you should do that. In terms of change of program, for example, a student wanting to change from early childhood to admin, or a student wanting to change from admin to English, the instruction is there too. You must be fully registered in the program you've been admitted to before you change program. So explore the system, look at all the information that is available. If the information is not clear, reach out to your heads, reach out to your deputy deans before clicking, because once you click on change of registration, it would complicate your registration. Sometimes you don't get access to your invoice and all of that. So be mindful when we click on change of registration at this time. That's all, Dr. Delisa.
Thank you very much for that, Dr. McBean. Okay, I am seeing Orin Stanley, your hand is up. You could go ahead with your questions and then we'll come back to the Q&A.
Yeah, my question is, I asked about the timetable. I'm on the faculty's webpage, and I would like direction as to where exactly can I find the tablet, because I'm having a problem downloading this Telegram app. It's not installing on my phone. I don't know if there's a problem with the app or the security settings on my phone. So I'd like to know where exactly on the webpage, the faculty webpage, can I locate the timetable?
Okay.
Thank you.
So I hope I remember this properly from my head because I'm not looking at the page at the moment, but it would be feh.uog.edu.gy/timetables. Otherwise, if you should go on the faculty webpage, you will see a link for timetables and you should be able to access it there. The faculty webpage would just be feh.uog.edu.gy.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, I'm seeing another question here. If someone misses online classes due to blackout, is it possible that students will get access to the recordings? Dr. Lashley, would you like to take that for me?
Once you miss class, I want to say that your lecturer and you will have an arrangement as to how you will catch up. Most lecturers will be willing, according to the university policy on recordings, to provide you with a recording for the course. But if that lecturer so desire or so decide not to, there is an academic clause about academic integrity. So to say entirely that all lecturers will provide a recording is not something I want to say at this point in time, but what I would say is that your lecturers will make arrangement for you to catch up once you've missed the session. In addition, lecturers will post the materials needed for class before class on the Moodle page, and you can prepare for class in advance. And if you miss that session, at the start of every other session, lecturers will recap, and your lecturer will work out something for you to get the material or to get involved in what you've missed in that session. But in most cases, the recording will be available.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lashley. I would just like to add that currently at the level of the academic board, we have a policy on recording that will be out very soon. So as soon as that is out, you'll be better guided in terms of the policies of the university regarding recordings for classes, how they are to be used, etc., etc. Thank you. Shazim Mohammed, I note your hand. You could go ahead, please.
Yes, ma'am. I was wondering if Good afternoon again. This is my second time asking a question. I was wondering if the link for Saturday greet and meet and the form for release can be reposted in a Telegram group. Because I'm looking here, I'm not seeing it. I don't know. Maybe it's too much for me to find at the moment.
That's fine. That's totally okay. We will be able to repost that for you. That should not be a problem at all.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Lashley, could you repost it?
I'm doing that at the moment,
Yeah,
Dr. McLean. As
Dr.
students
Delisa.
ask these questions, I am trying to post it in the chat as well as in the Telegram.
Yes, but the person who asked the question about Saturday, what program is that person doing, if I may ask? Because the meet and greet for Saturday is for the Department of Foundation and Education Management, early childhood primary administrators, and youth and community development.
Right. So I'm in secondary.
Yes, so unfortunately, our meet and greet will not be accommodating because yes, we will be exploring issues that our students encounter, guiding students about Moodle and all the different things during our meet and greet. It's kind of a chit chat session we have with our students, okay?
Is there something for secondary, academic?
Okay, your head will answer that question.
Okay.
Mr. Khan?
Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon. We don't have such a session. We are here to take your questions and we'll try to provide whatever answers you have. Whatever questions you have, we can answer them now. So go ahead.
Do you have other questions, Shazim?
No, I was just interested in the greet and meet to find that it was something that, you know, you could have got more close and more information and so on. So that's why I was interested in it. But then I realized it wasn't for my group. So that's okay. We'll work with what Mr. Azad, I think, is saying.
Yes,
We'll work with that.
Azad Khan.
Mr. Azad Khan. I don't know if he's a doctor, but Mr. Azad Khan. We'll work with what he's doing. That's okay.
All right, thank you very much. From the chat, how long it takes for approval of registration so as to view invoice? Any of the HODs would like to answer that? Not that I can't.
Yeah, Lisa, for foundation, for those of you who I must reiterate again, early childhood primary administration and youth and community development, we try to process our registration every other day. Yes, so give us about 2 days if you submit and we process. The thing though is that when we return your registration, sometimes our students don't read that, oh, this registration was returned for some reason or the other. And sometimes our students just click resubmit without reading why the registration was returned. So for the Department of Foundation, yes, we process registration about every 2 days, yes. We try to do it daily, but there are times when we can't. So yes, every 48 hours.
Thank you, Dr. McDean. Mr. Khan, would you like to jump in?
Yes. This one is before the invoice can be printed, the AR admission has to approve. So even if the head and the assistant deans approve, then sometimes it's held up because of the admission division. So our department doesn't have, we only have about 3 or so outstanding application registration to process. So it's not held up as the head, it's held up in the process itself. So once the AR admission approves
Mr. Khan,
the
students can access their invoice once the assistant dean has approved it.
Right.
Okay,
the system is so updated that once the assistant dean has approved the application, the students can access their invoices.
Well, in this
And
case,
I and Dr. Dillis and I, we try to approve within
Right,
48
right.
hours once we see them. So once your HOD has approved, as Dr. McBean has pointed out, within 48 hours, you'll have the assistant dean's approval.
Right, so
And
we
you
don't
can
have
access your invoice.
anything, the only things to be approved for our department are the students who would have submitted either today or last night.
Thank you very much. That is very impressive. I'm not sure, Mr. Kendall, would you like to respond about your department? And also, Dwayne, sorry.
What was the question, if you can repeat, please?
How long it takes for approval of registration so as to view invoice? I'm not sure. This is from Claudia Daniels. I'm not sure which department she is from and whether her registration is yet to be approved.
Well,
Her registration, I know the student, Dr. Delisa, I checked her up. Her registration was approved by both you and by the assistant.
Mr. Khan, I want to interrupt quickly just to caution you, maybe personal, maybe it's just a general question.
Okay,
and we need not answer personally.
Well, I didn't raise the name, but the name.
Yes, I mean, the name is there for all to see.
Yeah.
But it could be a general question.
Right, so in a general way, what has happened with this, the registration, I went in and looked, and it's at the AR, and that's why I made a comment, and therefore I don't understand why she cannot get her invoice, because I'm seeing that it was processed and it's now at AR.
Mr. Khan?
Okay, so go ahead, Dr.
One thing that happens is once the students activate change of registration, it complicates things. So students who activate change of registration, they have to wait until the AR approve. And that is why we encourage students not to click on change of registration at the moment. So sometimes when that happens, even the HOD would approve, the assistant dean would approve, but the student might not be able to access the invoice because the student activated change of registration. So sometimes that happens, yes, yes. But yes, when Mr. Kendall is done, could I share screen to show the students how they could find courses, especially our students doing courses cross faculty? Sometimes they wouldn't know which department their courses belong to. So I could give them a 1 minute tutorial, yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Kendall.
Thanks, colleagues. I was just saying that there is no specific time. Usually the department works on expediting the registration applications, but in some cases, when students submit courses and they have electives, I would need to check to ensure it's being offered before I do that approval. So there really is no specific timeline. I try to do it as expeditiously as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Kendall. Just before you go ahead, Dr. McBean, I did ask Dwayne, sorry, Dwayne, I should have said Mr. Benjamin. So you could go ahead, Mr. Benjamin, if you'd like to respond on behalf of your department. Okay, I am not sure.
Yes, Assistant Dean.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry, but I've missed the question.
How long it takes for approval of registration?
Registration, right. Oh, well, the point is as soon as I get as soon as the registration is submitted on the SRMS system and I see it, I would normally approve it right away. In some cases, the students may have to do maybe a change a few courses or so, but so far it's been efficient.
Thank you, Mr. Benjamin. Dr. McBean, you could go ahead.
Thank you. It's just a few minutes it will take. Let me know if you are seeing my screen. I have so many things open.
Not
Let
yet,
me,
but it is up.
okay, you will tell me when you're seeing it.
We're seeing it now.
Great. So many of our students know how to access the SRMS. So somewhere you wouldn't be seeing what I am showing you because I am logged in as head. But many of our students will be able to explore whatever you see at the top. And here I am seeing course. So I am clicking on course because I want to find the particular course. We have all the courses listed here, sorry. But I do not want to go through this list of 449. So what I will do, let me remove my Zoom. That's blocking me. I will press search. I'm pressing search. Let me know if the new screen appears. I press search. Are you seeing a new screen now?
We're seeing your search screen. Wait, just a second, because I am.
Anybody could let me know.
Yes, we're seeing the screen. Yes, Dr. McBean, where you can put your search courses in, your search
Lovely.
field.
So I am clicking on field and I am clicking on course code because that's all I want. Many times, that's all the students would have, the course code. So I am typing in ENG 1205. Let me see if I could find that course. And I'm submitting, submit search. I am clicking on submit search. Could you see what I'm clicking on, someone?
Yes.
Lovely, I'm clicking that, submit search. Can you see that I found the code and the course name?
Yes.
I will now click on action to get more information about this course. So I'm clicking on action. When I click on action, can you see my new page?
Yes, we can.
Yes, so you see the course code, the course name, the credit, and the department to which the course belongs. So as students, you explore your SRMS, you have so much information there, and you will find where your courses, the department, your courses belong. So it's 1 minute, yes? So I'll stop sharing.
Thank you very much, Dr. McBean. That was quite useful. Okay, so let's see, back to the questions. Good afternoon. How can I add or remove a course from one semester to another? Would you like to just take that also, Dr. McBean? Maybe you could show them how to.
Yeah, it's good when the students themselves could show you what they're referring to, because it's kind of abstract in terms of telling students what to do. But in any case, when you log on to your SRMS, as I did just now, next to the, for example, you want to remove a course that you register for, but you should not have. So next to that course on the left-hand side, you should see a drop-down arrow to state things like remove course, maybe add course. I am not quite sure what students see, but next to that particular course that you want to change, the information is there for you to remove it, or if you did not register, to add it. But when you're done doing all of that, you need to always remember to scroll to the very bottom of your registration page and press save. The thing about many students, sometimes they do those changes, but they don't scroll down to press save, and the changes will never take place. So you always scroll down, you press save, and after that, you go to preview or review whatever it is that students see before you click submit. And these are things we will do on Saturday, yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. McBean. I am looking at the time. It is now 3:52. We definitely hope to get out of here before 4. I see a question in the chat. Dr. Lashley just answered it, I guess, via typing. I don't think we have any additional hands up. I am seeing Bibi. Do you have a question, Bibi? I am not seeing any additional questions in the Q&A. Bibi, if you have a question, you could go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm a bit new in this technology thing, right? So I would like to know, how do I have to select my courses for the early childhood?
Dr. McBean?
Yes, we will do that on Saturday, Bibi, at 7 p.m. Yes, but Bibi, just in case you need help before, just reach out to your head, which is me, and we will make arrangement for a Zoom session, because it's always good to see what the students are seeing to guide them. So if you need help before Saturday, just reach out via this same link that we posted here. The link is usually open in the evening. I think is it between 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Yes, but I wasn't thinking of opening it today because I have so much to do and spend so much time here today. But if you do need help, let me know. And so, Bibi, can you answer? Are you available for a Zoom session today at 7 p.m.?
Yes, miss.
Okay, so I will do that. Just click on the link. It's our department's office hours link, and I will meet you on Zoom to sort out your courses at 7 p.m. today.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, I am seeing, well, this Dr. McBean has answered already. How do I know which timetable is for early childhood education? I believe everything relating to early childhood, you could simply join the meeting on Saturday and have all your questions answered there. I am very mindful of the time, but at the same time, I would like to ensure that we answer all the questions, or as much as possible. Oreen, I'm seeing your hand again. I'm not sure if you have an additional question. This may have to be our last question from the chat.
Yeah, it's just a follow-up.
Sorry, not from the chat. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just a follow-up. I see the timetable there. So basically, I have to see the courses that I have registered for, and I have to create my own timetable on Excel and then email it.
So the timetable that you will be creating will be for the release timetable. So yes, that is correct.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Next one, God, join some link so the lady have to start on. Thank you.
Maybe we are still hearing you. You're not mute. I am seeing where others have asked if they could join the session this afternoon, Dr. McBean, at 7 p.m.
Okay, I love my students. Okay, so when we join at 7, I will address Bibi's concern first, and then I will allow other students in maybe around 7:15, because there might be discussion that I would like to have that's private with Bibi. So yes, when I'm done with Bibi, you could remain in the waiting room, and then I'll open up between 7:15 to 8 for anyone else.
All right, so I am answering the final question. Well, I'll go with 2. How do I change the year of registration? So we have an issue where sometimes our ADE students would register for courses and they would select year 1 when you should select year 2. This is on the SRMS, normally under your personal information tab. You'll be able to go and you can make the change to your year 2 registration there. Seneca, I am seeing your hand. Seneca is a lecturer. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to make sure that the answer that we gave to the question about G whatever was satisfactory, because I think the student was probably asking what those numbers mean. And just to clarify, the G is indeed group, and the number represents the department or the course that the program that you're in. So for example, my name is Seneca Henry, and I have G 48, 49, 50, G 77 and 78. Just so you know, those are all groups, and they belong to the international relations or the accountancy. So you would have to know which group number you are in order to figure out which tutorial you need to go to. Those are the tutorial groups, the G behind the ENG 1105. Does that confuse people more, or do you think it helped?
Thank you, Seneca. I think it helped. I'm sorry I got knocked off one point and I was not here for that question, but thank you. I think it should clarify the issue. And this now will be our final question. Absolutely no more. Good afternoon, everyone. Where can I find the timetable for FNS for UGBC? I will ask you to go to the FNS website, normally in the same way where our timetables are posted on our website for all the departments. Their timetables are also posted on the website. Ms. Kedaru, I'm not sure if you'll be able to give more information to this as the UGBC coordinator. Okay, I am not sure if she is still here with us, but if that should not work for you, anonymous attendee, feel free to send an email to the coordinator, kamani.kedaru@uog.edu.gy. Thank you very much. Dr. Lashley, over to you for our wrap up. Let me see if I can get back to the share screen.
Well, students, faculty, staff, visitors, all members of the University of Guyana family, we thank you very much for attending the orientation exercise for the Faculty of Education and Humanities. We have tried our best to answer all of your questions, most of your questions. And if there's still questions to be asked, we promise you that as a faculty, we will continue to work cooperatively to help you achieve your goals and your dreams and whatever you set out to do at the University of Guyana. University of Guyana is a progressive institution and a very supportive institution. We will continue to improve and to work with you students so that you have a very successful stint at the University of Guyana. Our HODs have promised their support and the support of their lecturers. We, the Assistant Dean, as promised, along with the Dean, that we in administration will support you as best as we can. Remember, while all these supports are available to you, there is still that significant amount that is entirely on you. That which requires you to be familiar with your reading materials, familiar with your course expectation, and do that which is expected of you within your individual courses to complete your program. If you do continue to have questions, I remind you again that you can always reach out to us, to your HODs, to the live chat, and whatever means we have in place to support you. Once again, thank you so much for coming, and do have a successful start of your academic year.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And with that said, I think I'll just say thank you very much for attending. Peter, can we have some music before we close?